Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues. We were a little bit over our excitement. We arrived here in Eden on Monday. It was a report back session. You will remember that we first came to this district in 2015, around April. That we had, even before that, done two things. One was send our committees of the NCOP on the ground to do their oversight. We had then done what we called the pre-visit, which means that you meet up with committees, you get an idea what the issues are. There are too many. You decide on which ones that you can humanly possibly have the time to address in a week. We brought with us members of the local government, mayors. We brought with us the provincial executive members and committee members in the provincial executive. We brought ourselves as the NCOP, members of the executive, the national, and we went out and met up with the communities. A variety of issues came up, some of them issues around the personal citizens' complaints about service delivery. For instance, we had an old lady who had a personal issue which was about the gangsters down the street and her door not working. We had issues ranging from treatment of community members by the police, and the community reflected on a wide range of things. The adequacy of services by the police members to themselves, the alleged misuse of facilities, the need for the national minister to look at improving equipment and cars to the police so that they can do their work. So it was a mixed bag. You had issues which related to the different municipalities with the citizens, for instance, reflecting on the administration in Oudtshoorn, why they thought they were not getting services. You had issues which came from the district around issues of race relations. You had issues which were flagged by the communities around the land restitution, water and sanitation, human settlements, health facilities, the quality of education facilities. So there were a range of issues which we had commitment from the executive on all three spheres to deal with. We went back to Cape Town. We promised the people of Eden that we would come back. So we came back on Monday and we started our report back. It had taken us some time to get the executive to work on the commitments they had made to people. I think we are reasonably happy with what has happened since April last year to date. We have received reports, and the two colleagues will fill in, of where communities, for instance, complained about bad roads, that roadworks started, some roads were completed. We have instances where people were saying we have been in queues for houses, that there is commitment for the housing register to be made public so that everybody knows where they are, but also commitment for specific individuals to get houses. If it meant that we went out of our way, for instance, in Oudtshoorn, where a sponsor was found to build a house for an old lady who needed a house urgently, because we realized we couldn't wait for the processes of human settlements to come in. We have, as I say, a mixed batch of responses to Eden District. We have had to go to George High School here and say, yes, you needed 8 classrooms, 5 have been built and delivered. You needed the school painted, 60% of the school is painted. You complained to us about hostel accommodation. We've looked at it. Nothing has been sorted out. We are going to follow up. So as I say, as we take them project by project that we visited, there has been some movement. Sometimes there has been commitment which has not yet been fulfilled. But what we did then say to the communities and to the executive was that what is outstanding will be followed through using committees in the NCOP and using the committees in the provincial legislature to continue to pursue, make sure that all the issues are covered. We have, for instance, received allegations of corruption within the municipalities. We are going to pursue these matters through the committees again, but we are also going to be engaging specifically with the relevant MECs and the relevant minister to instigate and to give those who have been accused a chance to clear their names, and if they can't clear their names, that all the disciplinary processes must be followed. So yes, we may be sounding a little bit exhausted, but we are actually very happy that some difference has been made to some lives, and that there is still a promise that all the issues which were raised with us will be followed.
Thank you very much. The chairperson did indicate that the presiding officers accompanying her might want to add to the issues that the chairperson has reflected upon. I'm not sure if we should proceed to take questions and comments from the floor, or if the House chairpersons might want to comment as invited by the chairperson.
Thank you. I think she has quite captured almost everything of a true reflection of what happened. We are satisfied. We are ready to deal with the details when getting to questions.
Thank you very much. The chairperson was very categoric that she, on behalf of the NCOP and Parliament, is reasonably happy, but saying that there's more work to be done. So we'll afford you now an opportunity if you've got any questions or issues that you might need to have clarified, or any comments with regard to the visit. Now the floor is yours, is open to you. I'm told there's a roving mic. Knowledge will provide the mic. If you could just identify yourself, your name, and the media house that you represent, please. Would appreciate that. We'll take a round of questions, maybe 3 or 4, before we afford the presiding officers, chairperson and the presiding officers, a chance to respond.
Good evening. I'm Segri Chetty from SABC News. I just want to know, you've had your members in go to throughout the Eden district. Which area have they identified as the one which has the most problems? And secondly, I'd like to ask about Oudtshoorn. Oudtshoorn, as we all know, is a problem area, and we know that the municipality is under administration. And I'm sure last year when the members were there in Oudtshoorn, the public came out and, you know, they had a lot to say. I just want to know, now that you've returned there, what is the feedback on Oudtshoorn? Thank you.
Thank you, Segri. We're going to take another question or 2.
My name is Myron Rabinovitz. I'm with the George Herald. I'd like to ask a question about the Rosemore Old Age Home. We've been told that there is that the union went to the CCMA and they got a ruling from the CCMA that the administration of the home wasn't properly done, that the retrenchment packages aren't valid. And the other problem that we've got is we can't get information because it is under administration by the provincial department locally they cannot talk. Provincially, when we go through with queries, they've got to come back, and we find it very difficult to get answers. And the rumors are doing the run here, and we can't in the local newspaper to either confirm or deny the rumors because there's very little information coming out.
Good evening. Hi, my name is Zolani Singwa from the George Herald and also for Dinga newspaper. I just want to know, I just want to find out from the chairperson, as you've seen, as you've heard last night, the concerns that were raised by the people. They were saying that the report that you presented last night, it's only good on paper, but when it comes to practicality, it doesn't exist. So I just want a message from you, Chairperson, is that how do you ensure the people of this region that their needs or their concerns are being looked after? And what is the message actually from this whole experience that you're actually giving to them?
Thank you, Zolani. The Chairperson will now respond to the questions.
Okay. Can I start with the last question? How do we ensure that the report that was given? Yesterday, you had the municipality and the province responding, giving a report back on the commitments that were made. Particularly in George, it was around 5 projects. You will remember that the challenge was not on the specific projects that we went to. You will remember that the challenge was really around what the mayor said around youth empowerment and youth job opportunities created for the young people. You would also remember that we said that sitting on the stage, we could not disprove whether or not the mayor was telling the truth or not. But the suggestion which came out of the young people was that job opportunities may have been made, but only for some people. So what we can do as the NCOP is to go back there and monitor the implementation of what we were told is being implemented. And that is why I said that those issues which are still ongoing or still hanging would be monitored by both the provincial portfolio committees and the select committees of the NCOP. Was it only good on paper? I don't know. It was a public commitment made by the executive in Eden. Now, I respect myself as a politician, and I don't make public commitments which I know I'm not going to commit. If any of those people who committed publicly yesterday actually are found not to have committed, then they are in serious trouble. The youth contended that, for instance, one of the things that they went against was that some 60 million was expended, but only 20 million was expended on a project that they could identify. Now, they wanted to know where the 40 million was, which we couldn't respond to on the stage. They agreed that the 20 million, which was said to be expended, a project is there, they can identify, they can point at it. That project is ongoing. Our duty, follow up on the allegation that some money may not have been expended in the same way that we were told, but also give the municipality and the province a chance to know whether the 40 million is still coming in tranches, perhaps in the incoming financial year, which we are still to go to. Because as the NCOP, we must also be very clear. In April last year, we came here. In May onwards until now, both the province, national, and the municipalities then had to find and divert funds to deal with what we saw as burning on the ground. In other words, you must then give the two spheres a chance to go through their budget cycles and to ensure that whatever procurement is regularized, but also that they have ensured that their budgets now carry the lines for the items which they must go and deliver on. So the NCOP cannot be punitive, and we cannot say, because there are pressing issues on the ground, whether the local government or the provincial government or national government has the funds, they must do it now, erroneously, wrongly, and get to invite other things which might not be right. One of the issues which we grappled with, for instance, is St. Paul's Primary School. Not a very conducive learning environment or teaching environment. We had to come in as the NCOP and say, we understand. The province cannot divert funds and start building classes or doing whatever there because we don't own the land. It is such that the state cannot expend a cent on property which is held privately. That is reality. And so we had to go in and negotiate ourselves together with the school and say we even are willing to become mediators between the Anglican Church and this to ensure that either they sell the land to us or agree with the department to find alternative. By last evening, that matter was settled. The primary school will be built near where the children, most of the children comes to. So a new primary school will be built. So I want to say that when individual citizens feel the pinch, they bring the matters up. When the states resolve issues, they must budget, they must find resources, find warm bodies, put plans into plan. And it is then our responsibility to follow through on these promises that are made to people. We are very satisfied that most of what they committed to has been done, and some of that is in the pipeline. You asked, ma'am, which was the most problematic area. Oudtshoorn was for us the most problematic area, where you were looking at a municipality which was hung, which had been in coalition, a municipality which was not taking any advice or guidance from either the province or the national executive, from the people who were supposed to be dealing with it. You were looking at a municipality which really had its own people in the streets screaming for services, but also saying this is not on. The reports that we received was that there is an acting municipal manager. I'm told the community has already nicknamed him Mr. Suspension. Because you do the right thing or you don't do the right thing, he suspends, gets you out, he gets people to do the work. So the report we receive is that things administratively have started improving for the people. Things political, we are hoping that the coming local government elections will settle that once and for all. You will also remember that the NCOP was upfront. We didn't choose anybody, any party that is in Oudtshoorn. We didn't buy any face. We agreed with the people that we found the situation in Oudtshoorn untenable. We said as much to the minister. The minister then went physically there. The deputy minister has been going to Oudtshoorn. So Oudtshoorn was our big problem. Have we resolved it? Administratively, with the acting manager, things are beginning to shape up. We must give them the space to do that. We are hoping that it is then the voters who will take matters further into their hands when they go and vote in August and put the politicians who will serve their best interest there. That we cannot do for them. That they must do for themselves. There was a third question about the rose. Yes. Yes, we have received this. And I think that the province said definitely they have put the old age home under administration. Our point of view is that all of us must not act in the management's interest or in the workers' interest, but in the interest of those who must receive the best of services from both the workers and the managers. And therefore, we will be following up on what the province says it is doing. Make sure that the people who must get service from the it's not Oakmore, it's Rosemore Old Age Home get the services. We have actually said that we might want to encourage the province to pay closer attention with the local government to ensure that the inhabitants of the old age home are not in any way disadvantaged. But our chairperson for social services was also in. We will be keeping an eye on the developments there.
Maybe it's an issue of emphasis to separate the issues of what happened last when we were here. The sessions of the entire week was more of a report back, but of course, as the chairperson has clarified, in the public meetings as well all over Eden District in different groups, people happen to raise new issues. And today when we met in the afternoon, a clear process was explained of how we're going to deal with those issues. So the satisfactory we're talking about, it's in relation to what was made as commitments last year when we're coming back to report back and checking the progress on the ground. And the process of going forward about those issues that were raised in different meetings, Naisna, Canaland, Warren, George, is very clear. So on that one, we're not commenting about is satisfactory because we still have to have that process, and the chairperson is clarifying that for any part, for any side of the story, you still have to give the other part to do a thorough explanation so that in that process we're going to be able to do it justice when we're sorting those problems. Thank you.
I should think that all three questions have been responded to. And
Can we just get the number of somebody that we can contact and keep in contact with from on a national basis
On the Rosemont.
on the Rosemore issue, please?
okay, thank you very much. That will be facilitated. Mr. Modise will take your contacts and he'll be able to set you up in that regard. All right, shall we take another round of questions? Is there another round of questions that we may have? Okay, it would appear that everything is sufficiently clear.
Can I ask another?
Yes, indeed.
Madam Chairman, you've now been in the Eden for 3 days. Can you please tell us what advice you're going to give the ANC candidates for August? You've obviously got a very good overview. We'd just like to know what you're going to tell them, what they must say and ask.
I came to Eden District as a presiding officer of Parliament. I'm very clear. I am not wearing a party cap. I'm very clear I'm not betting for any party. I am clearly here to ensure that the ordinary citizens' rights are protected. So I'm afraid I'm not going to be speaking or giving any advice to ANC candidates or DA candidates or EFF candidates. That's not my job. My job is make sure that we all work as a team, all parties in the NCOP, guarding the interests of the people on the ground.
Okay, that advice is good enough. I'm sure you're happy with it, though. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let us thank the chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Mayor Thandi Modise, and the House chairpersons for the address they've given to us, for the information they've shared with us. And on that score, the press briefing is adjourned.